So yeah, it's over. Um, this kind of like three things I want to talk about. The actual episode itself. I guess my not my thoughts on Super as a whole, but I want to comment on Super as a whole too. And I don't. It'll be a little of what guys already know if you or people have already known if you've been watching my videos. But then I also want to talk about the future of my channel. And don't worry, I'm not like deleting or going anywhere. I just I just need to talk about that too. But yeah, let's talk about the actual episode first. But no, before I do that, I want to talk. So I realized before I watched the episode, I realized today was like the last episode of Dragon Ball Super in the anime, right? And I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel like probably should have felt happiness, considering that Super sucks. But it's just like I didn't even feel the I did not feel like vindicated or like anything like that because Super was ending today. I just felt like so numb. And to me, that's telling. Like for me, like when I realized that a series like Dragon Ball GT didn't even do that, right? A series like Dragon Ball GT, as bad as it was, I still felt like some sort of like content, when I watched that last episode. Now, granted, when I watched as a kid, I wasn't being like critical and anything over here, but and like since I had rewatched, I mean, I haven't rewatched it as of late, but when I rewatched it again since then, I remember feeling like, this show sucks, but at least that ending was just like perfect, right? Well, not perfect, but I mean, we don't know what the fuck happened to Goku when he went on Shenron and all that stuff, and Goku Jr., Vegeta Jr. being Super Saiyans and all this stuff, right? But this finale, how do I put? So yeah, so I didn't feel anything, and then it wasn't until like late night that I started to feel like, oh wow, this is actually the end of Dragon Ball Super, at least the anime. I mean, sure, we still have the new movie coming out. We still have the manga. Toyotaro's not done with the manga version yet. But that's when That's when I started to feel not necessarily like sadness, but just like the realization, like, oh, this is the end of Dragon Ball Super, the anime. Um, so yeah, and I just finished the episode like yeah, pretty much like an hour ago. You know. Um, uh, yeah, but so my thoughts on the actual finale. Let's see. Pretty 50-50. So I thought I would rant on this considering that I saw a spoiler tweet from on Twitter from Herms. I'm going to talk about that obviously considering this is the review, but there were some pretty good moments in the finale overall. So there was a lot of bad, but a lot of good. So it wasn't perfect, but it was like 50-50. So basically, the first half of the episode is Goku, Frieza, 17, and Goku versus Jiren, right? So the animation during the fight I thought was perfect. I thought it was really sick to see that. It was like something out of a like it was almost like movie quality for me, honestly. And just seeing Jiren and all this stuff was cool. But what I didn't like definitely was Jiren's his constant allusions to like this is trust. Oh, is this your trust? And honestly, for like a shonen, and I get it, Dragon Ball's a shonen, Dragon Ball's meant for kids and all this, but it's like what I've been saying about the original manga. The original manga, yes, it highlighted some special bonds, like say Piccolo and Gohan, or Boo and Mr. Satan, and like bonds like that. There were the bonds between people and the communication between people is a theme in every single series that has ever debuted. Like not only manga, not only Dragon Ball, not only Shonen or Shonen Jump, manga, comics, games, whatever. And I looked to that quote from Monster that Dr. Raikkonen had, right? Monster by Naoki Urasawa. If you guys haven't watched it or read it, definitely do that. But he had this quote where he said, the most important thing that a person can do, the most important thing in a person's life is how they communicate with people. And I 100% agree with that quote, right? And I think that's what they're trying to illustrate here. And it's just like the stuff with Sasuke and Naruto, but it's just so whack to hear him always like talk about and try to understand what trust is as a concept. It's like, dude, listen, trust isn't that big of like this fucking philosophical ass issue where you got to be like, this is trust. What is trust? And all this stuff, and it's so whack. It's so whack. Like the fighting was great, but that specifically was whack. It would have been I would have had no complaints about the fight had that had he not said any of that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it's Goku and all of them. So Goku ends up moving in the end, and Jiren has to get a pep talk from Toppa, which I thought that was dumb. Well, not really dumb. I can understand him. I could understand like his loss of faith in himself at that time, but it's just like Jiren's struggling to form friends and connections with other people is just so whack, and we'll talk about that later in the video. So yeah, Goku. So they fight Jiren, and then Jiren is knocked out at the same time with Goku and Frieza, and that was kind of surreal to see Goku and Frieza fighting together to defeat Jiren. I don't know how to feel about that because there was like the vibe that I was getting that Frieza is going to be a good guy. Um, and and I wanted to save that towards the end of the video, right? But as far as Goku losing, so I remember what I said about Goku losing, like in one of my earlier videos where I was talking about the spoilers, where Goku supposedly loses and Frieza's the one that's going to win and all that, and that's how Super ends. I think I probably have to admit that I was somewhat wrong in that because I think this was a good, I think this was a good way to make Goku. I'm still not happy that Super didn't like make Goku out to be they didn't handle the character well in terms of like what I was talking about with Yusuke Murata and what I was talking about with like Bulma and like every other like mangaka who likes Goku and how you're supposed to portray him as like the end all, not the end all, but yeah, he can lose like end of arc fights, but it's more like you gotta feel like this dude, he contributed, he was important, he was instrumental into defeating the main villain, right? You gotta feel like he not necessarily that he, yeah, in some sense that he did the most, I would say. I mean, I guess that's not really true with Gohan and Cell, but you gotta feel that this dude is like this dude watching over you, Goku watching over you, like everything's gonna work out in the end. And when I read the spoilers, like, and I was complaining about it, I said that thing had been lost. But with this episode, it's not been totally gained back, but I think it's halfway been gained back. I felt that that main character winning feel, not main character winning, but like the heroes as a group winning. I felt that feeling, and then I felt like the main character or Goku in this case contributed heavily. So like I'm probably not verbalizing it right. I can't really think of like the right way to articulate it, but it's more like it's the feeling that I felt when say like Goku helped Gohan defeat Cell or Goku used the Genki Dama on Buu even though like it wasn't his power. You know, it even though it wasn't him alone, it's kind of like this dude was still the guy like that even saying help, I'm gonna say help, but even saying help doesn't like encapsulate like what I'm feeling perfectly. But anyway, the point is Goku losing the manner in which he did for in this episode, I thought that was handled fine. That was handled fine. But obviously, I'm still not happy about the fact that he's a jobber in Super, that he loses all of his fights for the most part. And the remember what I said about his loss against Hit in the versus Universe 6 arc, where he kind of like he just lost for apparently no fucking reason, and it was just a way for Toriyama and Toyotaro, whoever, and yeah, Toriyama and Toyotaro to say like, oh, Goku lost, ha ha ha. I feel that somewhat in this arc, but I think it's handled, and I don't know if it's gonna happen the same way in the manga, but it's handled in a much more Toriyama prime mangaka Toriyama during from the 1984 to 1995 Toriyama, that Toriyama. I felt that in the way that Goku and Frieza beat Jiren together, and that 17 is the last one standing and all that stuff. So, yeah. Jiren addressing the Pride Troopers, like, why are you helping me after I regarded you with contempt during the fight? That was really whack. I mean, yes, it happened, but again, his turn of face of character is just whack overall. His turn of face when Toppo lost to Vegeta makes little to no sense. It's just like, what the fuck? All of a sudden, out of the blue, you're acting like a dick. Like, oh, you're pathetic, and all this shit. It's like fucking Sasuke Uchiha bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Sasuke Uchiha should not pollute Dragon Ball. Get the fuck out of here with that. Goku being shocked at Universe 11's erasure when a Grand Priest announced it, that was dumb too. And then we get to the Wish. Oh god, this was by far the worst episode, or the worst part of the episode. Look, or one of the two worst parts. Well, really, I think everything after this episode is pretty much whack. And again, let's let's save it a little bit. But again, 17's wish is so whack. So if you guys have been listening to anything that I've been saying in any of my videos for my reviews for Super, I've talked about Toriyama's like the way that he writes, right? Like some of his shticks, and the biggest thing that he does is like irony and like contrast, right? So the universes that were destroyed, right? That were supposed to be destroyed, them not being destroyed in a tournament that was about their erasure in the first part, that is very Toriyama-esque, but at the same time, that does not make the wish okay or make this good writing. This sucks because not only does it make the tournament pointless, and it's not even about making the tournament pointless. Well, yeah, it is about making the tournament pointless. That's a part of it, but it was also so predictable too. I called this happening when the tournament first started back in like February or June or whenever it was, right? Right? When I first heard, like when the first premise happened, like, oh, there's going to be a universal survival arc, I knew that this was going to happen at the end of it. I knew, right? I fucking knew that the universe is going to be fucking revived at the end. I knew that was going to happen. But this wish happening just goes to show that I don't know who it is. I don't know if this is the way that... We'll have to see like how it plays out in the manga before I completely comment on it. But the entire point of the tournament was that those with lower mortal levels, the universes with lower mortal levels, they were cluttering the universal hierarchy up. So how is restoring them going to clear up the problem of there being too many universes? That was the innate problem. There were too many universes, one, and two, they had too lower mortal levels. And sure, now that those universes have experienced death by Zeno's hand, and for some reason they somehow remember it despite them being erased, from what I understood, Zeno erasing them, like, he was essentially, like, killing them, right? He was killing them. And from what I understood, the universe, like the afterlife, like say like if Universe 7 was destroyed, for example, the afterlife where like with King Enma and Kaio and the Kaioshin world, all that stuff would have been destroyed, right? And so somehow they remembered them being erased, and I don't know how they remembered that. So anyway, the point is, sure, them experiencing death by Zeno's hand can make them change. But the actual number of universes still remains the same. Nothing is fixed. Irony and trying to create a contrast, that does not make this wish okay or make this good writing. This was the one thing that should not have happened, and it fucking happened. It just makes everything so stupid and pointless. And more so than that, it's predictable and it doesn't fix the fucking problem. And that wasn't addressed. After they were erased... Oh, no, it was somewhat addressed, actually. We'll talk about that. But anyway, so the universes are revived. Champa saying Kyodai, I actually liked... That part was great, saying, I want to thank you, Kyodai. I like that part. That was a good line of dialogue. Jiren being revived and trying to form connections with Toppo is still whack, for obvious reasons. One, like I said, the turn of face of character for him came out of left field. Like, not only left field, it was just so, like, out of the blue. Like, it was so awkward to just see him be, like, this champion of justice, right? Apparently this dude who goes around the universe saving people, and now he calls his teammates pathetic? What the fuck? Then he's not even a real hero, right? So why the fuck is he even a Pride Trooper? And the thing is, like, he's a part of the Pride Troopers. He's a part of a fucking team. How the fuck does he not? You know what I mean? And he's not just a team, a superhero team. It's not even like fucking like Batman or Aquaman in Justice League, like in the Justice League movie. That makes sense in some respect, considering like this was their origin story, and so he can be, you know, a very loner type and all this stuff. But trying to acknowledge that you don't have friends and all this shit, Jiren trying to form connections at the end when he was revived with Toppa, that was so stupid. But what I did like was him acknowledging Goku at the end. That I thought would just felt like classic Dragon Ball to me. Just like him staring at the sky and you see Super Shenron and him saying like, I'll be seeing you, Goku, Son Goku. And then the scene like fades to Goku's face after that. I really like that part. That was a good part to me. And so yeah, I mean this is well beyond the mid eye catch for the episode. I mean the mid eye catch for the episode was like 17. Grand Priest asking what 17's wish is gonna be. So then 17 wishes for the universes, right? So technically 17 wins. So that's actually kind of cool. I know 17 fans are gonna be like, oh yeah, he's the MVP. He's the one that won in the end and all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I hope they don't turn into like Vegeta and Frieza and Piccolo fans and stuff like that. That'd be anyway. But the more whack moments continue. 18 being concerned that 17 didn't wish for a boat is so stupid. That is so whack. Dude, she runs up to him and she's like, are you okay? She's like so concerned and she's on the verge of crying, right? On the verge of tears because 17 didn't wish for a fucking boat for his family? That's what has you on the verge of fucking tears? When he just saved all the universe? That is so stupid. That is so fucking whack, man. That is so stupid. What the fuck? Oh my god. I can't. This character, this 18, right? When I saw that, I was just like, this 18 is not even the, like, sure, she's not the 18 from the Androids arc, even, like, when she, quote-unquote, turns good, if that's what you want to call it, but even the 18 from the Buu arc? And then, it's more what the fuck moments are happening. Whis can resurrect people? What the fuck? So, Frieza then goes like, can you send me back to hell, right? And I'll talk about that after this point, right? But it's just like, Whis can, and yeah, it's like, can you send me back to hell because like your happiness is making me want to vomit and all this stuff, right? But Whis can resurrect people? What the fuck was the point of the erasure of anything with the angels there? Look, that remember when Universe 10 was erased, right? Kus was so sad that Gowasu, or who is it, Gowasu or Ramush, like one of them died. She was so sad that Gowasu or Ramush died. Considering that Whis can do this, she could have just easily used her fucking power. And even if she couldn't, she could have asked fucking Whis. Whis can resurrect people. He can fucking resurrect people? What the fuck? Like, that is not jarring or not, like, fucking, like, that does not, like, that's not weird to anyone? That this dude's basically, what's the point of using the fucking Dragon Balls at this point, then? Whis can resurrect? Why are you gonna collect the Dragon Balls? Just phone up Whis, say, like, oh, I got this good-ass food on Earth, and have him use his, you know what I mean? Basically, look. Yes, people die in Dragon Ball and they can come back. And I made a video about this. Resurrection in Dragon Ball, it's not assured, right? Look, at least when the Dragon Balls did Resurrection, right? There were certain rules, right? There were certain rules that prevented someone from being resurrected. If you died a natural death, if you died of a heart disease like Goku did, or if of a disease period like how Goku did in the future, you can't be revived. You have to wait a certain amount of time before you can collect them all. And because they're stone. What else? And within the heat of an arc, the Namek arc, the Androids arc, the Buu arc, whatever it is, there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to collect the Dragon Balls while you're still fighting the main villain. Many times the main villain is stronger than everyone. Many times there was always a point where Vegeta was stronger than everyone, Frieza was stronger than everyone, Cell was stronger than everyone, and Buu was stronger than everyone. There was always a point, especially in the climax and the finales of those arcs, where the villains were stronger than the heroes. And so because of that, you didn't know what was going to happen, and so there was real-ass tension. yes, there was the Dragon Balls, but there was no guarantee that Goku, while fighting Buu, could just hop around the entire fucking universe using Shunkan Ito and trying to like collect the Dragon Balls and wish Purunga or fucking the planets, Shenron and Purunga, and wish everyone back. And yeah, I know like Earth was destroyed and Muri had collected all the Dragon Balls by then, but it's still so fucking dumb. What's the point? It's so different now because Whis is basically one of the, I assume, 15 strongest motherfuckers in the entire series. At least in Super. No one can beat fucking Whis except Grand Priest and Zeno, and they're not fucking evil. There's literally nothing stopping him from doing that shit. Anyway, and then Frieza insists on going back to hell, like I said, but why? Why did he do that? It's made abundantly clear in this episode that he took Goku's word. He knows that Goku is quote unquote naive and too trusting and gullible and all this stuff, and he took his word, and he still insisted on going back to hell, thinking that he wasn't going to keep his word on resurrecting him. But that's not the only bad part. That happens, so Whis does his fucking wishes him back to life, right? But then everyone is shocked that it happened. And sure, you can make the argument that they're not shocked that Whis actually revived Frieza. They're more shocked at the fact that Whis has the ability to use his staff to revive Frieza. And sure, you can make that argument, but no one asks Whis if he can do that. No one goes out of their way to say, like, you can resurrect people? How did you do that? There's not even one question about that. So that was whack, and the bullshit still continues. It's revealed that Zeno's wish for whoever won the tournament, right? The wish was that whoever won the tournament would wish back all the other universes back. All the destroyed universes who they had like killed. The fighter who won would use the Super Dragon Balls to wish them back. Right? So this is revealed. But again, this does not excuse anything. This does not make sense considering what the innate problem, the impetus, the reason why the tournament started in the first place. And what was that? It was that, one, there were too many universes, and two, that they had a low mortal level, a goodness level, right? And we've already explained this. We've already talked about it with the low mortal level. Okay, sure, they could change. But there's still too many universes. What sense does it make for someone to revive universes that don't have high mortal/goodness levels in the first place? So let's dissect the entire issue, right? Zeno wanted the person who won to revive all the destroyed universes back, right? But if you made the universe, right? If you made the tournament, if your secret desire was to see if people can change, right? Then why would you make a tournament to destroy universes? Zeno, you're already like fucking feared by everyone except Goku. You're feared by everyone except Goku. Everyone except Goku. Why do you need to do a fucking universal survival tournament if your end goal was for people to change and be better people? You could have just showed up in front of the God of Destruction and the Kaioshin, say like, change their ways, make sure that people are good, and all this stuff. Instead of doing a fucking universal survival tournament. This is shitty writing. This literally does not excuse that. It doesn't excuse that. And still the innate problem was not only the low mortal level, but the quantity of universes. This goes right back to that. Literally, I remember specifically, and I'd have to go back and rewatch an episode, but I specifically remember in the manga, Zeno saying that there are too many universes. The quantity of universes is a problem. If you're going to revive the universe's back, that doesn't solve the fucking problem. And you went in a very roundabout manner in trying to fix one of the other two issues when there was a much more easier and direct way. It's the same thing like with the Zamasu and the Zero Mortals plan. It's just so fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And it's the same thing here. If you wanted people to change, just do the easy thing and just use your authority, right? To fucking coerce the gods and the Kaioshin to change people. Do it. Use fear and intimidation to do it, because that's basically what you did in the tournament anyway. And sure, you can make the argument, oh, but Zeno's a child, he wants to be entertained and all this stuff. Okay, that's fine, but with the stakes of the universal survival on the line? Artificial ass means like that? So everyone goes back to Capsule Corp, right? And Universe 7 wins, basically, right? So I guess that's nice that they won. And seeing everyone smile was nice. So like everyone was looking towards like the breaking dawn at Capsule Corp, and I liked that part. Everyone was seen as everyone was smiling and looking at the rising sun. Especially Vegeta's face. I really liked Vegeta's face when he had his arms crossed and he was smiling like this. See, that's the kind of Vegeta that should have been in Super all this fucking time. And seeing Vegeta in that, like, just out of all the characters, even Goku, but just seeing Vegeta, and Frieza wasn't smiling, but just seeing specifically Vegeta there made me, I really liked that. But fuck, man. What they did with Frieza. So there's two things I want to there's two things I want to talk about with Frieza. The whole good guy thing that I said I would talk about. So in this arc, right, because he is allied with Universe 7, there is a big fear that Frieza was going to become a good guy. He was going to become a good guy in the end. Or he was going to become uneasy allies. He was going to become sort of like he was going to become a good guy like Tien, Piccolo, and Vegeta, or he was going to become like an uneasy ally, like a more uneasy alliance sort of like type character, like what they have with the Beerus, but just like way more like dangerous. And both of those would have been just so whack as fuck, and that ended up happening. Well, actually, no, it didn't end up happening. But the fact that Goku and Frieza were the ones to defeat Jiren together, like I felt the good guy vibes coming, and it just felt so wrong, right? But I want to talk about this, right? So there's a new movie coming out in December that's going to take place after Super, right? If Frieza had become a good guy by the end of the series, this would have been probably the worst one. I don't know. I'd have to think about if it was the worst, but definitely it would have been like one of the worst things that Toriyama has ever done. Toriyama Toyotaro's Super as a whole had ever done. And I can already hear people saying like, oh, but that's the same thing that happened with Piccolo and Vegeta. They were so villainous and trying to kill people and they were villains and trying to take over the world and stuff. They became good guys. But you know what? You want to know what the difference is. You want to know what the fucking difference is. The difference is that Piccolo and Vegeta, when they became good guys, right? That was while the series was actually going on. So, say I'm a kid in Japan during 1984, or 1980, 86, 87, 88, 89, right? And then I'm picking up Shonen Jump from my fucking newspaper stand, whatever, right? And I'm reading it weekly. Seeing Piccolo or Vegeta become a good guy through that method is far more acceptable than what they're trying to do with Frieza. You know what they're doing with Frieza? Keep in mind, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Z ended in 1995, right? 20 years since then, Frieza has become one of the most iconic fucking villains, right? And you can comment about the quality of his character or whatever, but he has become one of the most memorable villains in the entirety of manga and anime. Frieza has made it into pop culture, global pop culture. Not many. If you were to talk about, and I didn't know this personally, right? I didn't know that people saw Frieza as like the Dragon Ball villain, but that's what Frieza is. Frieza is the Dragon Ball villain, the fucking Dragon Ball villain. Like how Vegeta is the rival, even though technically, if this were a more competently written show, Vegeta shouldn't be the only rival. It should have been more maybe Piccolo and Vegeta, and can throw Tien in there. But 20 years, the fans of Dragon Ball and casual fans, however diehard your fan of Dragon Ball is, 20 years since 1995, or for us Americans when Dragon Ball Z ended in 2003, and I think GT ended in 05 or something like that. At least 10 years, the image of Frieza as one of the most iconic anime manga villains ever has lived with us. We've taken that with us as fans of Dragon Ball. If Frieza became a good guy at the end of this, that feeling of holding that for so long, that image would be destroyed. It would completely destroy the entire... Why do you think mangaka, they refer to Frieza? What? Suzuki Nakaba, right? The mangaka of Seven Deadly Sins, right? There was an interview that he did, right? When it was for one of the villains in his series, right? In Seven Deadly Sins, Hendrickson. He said that he was trying to evoke Frieza in Hendrickson when Hendrickson got like the gray demon blood, right? He was trying to make like this whole like sleek design and have him like the way that he drew the eyes and everything. And even the way that he spoke and all this stuff, right? He was trying to emulate that with fucking Hendrickson. Togashi, considering the big Dragon Ball fan that he is, you can see hints of Frieza in Meruem. I mean, probably not the most dominant character. You can see more Cell and Buu in Meruem than you can see Frieza, in my opinion. But then again, in my opinion, Frieza in the original manga doesn't have like the most... I mean, he has character traits, but it's not like he's a very like fully realized, well-developed character, in my opinion, personally. So that's why I never saw him as like the signature villain, like until I got into the internet, and until Super, I guess. But it's just like, if Frieza would have become a good guy, that would have just been the dumbest thing ever. You just can't imagine fucking Joker becoming a good guy in Batman. You can't imagine Darkseid becoming a good guy in Superman. You can't imagine Green Goblin becoming a good guy in Spider-Man. You can't imagine Ganondorf becoming a good guy in Zelda. Just I guess Darth Vader isn't the best choice, but just think of the most fucking popular villains ever. Can you imagine Thanos becoming a good guy in the fucking Marvel cinematic universe against like I don't know, say like the Living Tribunal or some shit like that? Who's the fucking strongest person in the Marvel universe again? It's the Almighty One or some shit like that. I don't even remember the All Presence or something. I don't God damn it, I don't even remember the name. But and yeah, there have been times where a villain has had to work with the hero, not just in Dragon Ball, but in any shonen or just any sort of anime or manga. I'm sure in the comics that I'm talking about it's happened, right? I'm sure, like, I'm not thinking at the time, but I'm sure Batman or Superman, they've had to work with their villains to defeat like some other villain. And yes, I can totally believe that's happened. But for them to go to almost like being a good guy and illustrating and animating them like good guys, are you serious? So that just would have been so whack had he become a good guy. But so that was the first thing I want to talk about with Frieza. The second thing, Frieza is just left to do what he wants? Are you fucking kidding me? Frieza is just left to do what he wants. Goku and Vegeta don't kill him. Oh my god, I can't believe this shit. They literally let just Frieza go and be a villain and have his empire and do what he was doing all over again. This dude is going to subjugate the entirety of the universe and Goku and Vegeta and Gohan and Piccolo are not even gonna give two flying fucks. Look, I know Goku isn't the all-justice hero that the Funimation dub made him out to be. I know that. I know that. I'm not some fucking dub scrub, okay? I'm not some guy that solely relies on the Funimation dub, the old Funimation dub of Z, and that is the holy grail. I know the true Goku. I know Goku has selfish tendencies. I know he's not Superman. He's not like this all-encompassing hero. But even Goku is not a straight-up selfish dickhead like that. When Goku formed the Genki Dama against Frieza on Namek, do you know what he said? He had this thought going through him. And this is literally a quote. You can go through the manga, you can watch the episodes where he forms the Genki Dama in the anime, and even if you want to bring up Toriyama's quote, right, about how he doesn't like the righteous hero portrayal that the anime gave him, the Japanese sub-anime gave him, okay, that's fine, go to the manga. You read that shit. There's a quote that he says that if I don't beat Frieza here now, the entire universe, the Namekians here, and everyone will be in danger for the rest of their lives. I gotta beat him here now. This dude has heroic tendencies. He does. He fucking does. He was begging the people of Earth so that he could save them. He could... Dude. Oh my god. Goku and Vegeta aren't the type of selfish dickheads that let Frieza go at the end of... Competently written post-Boo Goku and Vegeta would not have let Frieza just go off and do what he wanted. What the fuck is that? The Goku and Vegeta of Dragon Ball Z post-Boo never would have let that happen. Never would have let that happen. Never would have let that happen. Never. Ever. Never. They both care about their friends and or at least in Goku's case, he cares about his friends and family too much to let that happen. For him to get too much power and then try to get his revenge. You know, dude, you know Frieza's gonna come back and want to kill like Chi-Chi and Bulma or someone. And Vegeta, considering like how family-oriented apparently Super made him. Yes, Super has made him that family-oriented at the expense of trying to say like, oh my god, he's so much more of a better father than Goku and all this bullshit, right? He would not have let that happen. And then you get this ending montage. I mean, yeah, it's nice. Bra's birthday party. Goku coming back with a beat-up shirt. Pan pulling on Piccolo. I mean, I like that. I do like all that stuff. I promise I do. But then it goes to generic Goku and Vegeta fighting. I mean, I don't even necessarily hate that, but it's just so funny to me. Actually, no, before I talk about that, Goku can't access Ultra Instinct at will? What the fuck sense does that make? This doesn't work. This literally, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Considering that there wasn't... Look, Ultra Instinct, in the anime, there's an Omen form, which we know is anime only, and there's a true, mastered, perfect, real, whatever fucking form, whatever fucking state you want to call it, the silver-haired form. There's an imperfect form, and there is a mastered form. How in the hell can he not access true Ultra Instinct at will? What sense does that make? Look, Beerus can't access it at will because he hasn't truly mastered it, right? Goku, in Omen state, really hadn't mastered it, and that kind of makes sense, right? But silver-haired Ultra Instinct, that is the fucking technique. That is and that is like literally the fucking technique. And people are gonna bring up like Super Saiyan. Oh, he had to train on Yardrat after Frieza for him to like master it, and then he got like even these more perfect, like stronger Super Saiyan forms when you train in the Rune of Spirit in time with Gohan. And yes, that's true, but those are transformations. This is Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct. How are you not able to access Ultra Instinct at will when the impetus behind it is fucking not thinking and having your limbs move out on their own? How do you not? Dude, that is literally the problem, like why there was an Omen form to begin with. The reason he had a true mastered silver-haired fucking form was because he got over that. He mastered that shit. It was the real perfect. How can he not access it at will because of that? But even the ending scene, it's just so funny to me. It's just incredibly like encapsulating, evocative of like what Super is. Because what literally the ending pose is Goku and Vegeta in Super Saiyan blue forms using their Saiyan arc stances. And what have I been saying about Super, especially in this arc with all the characters coming back? It's all just fucking nostalgia callback bullshit. That's all they've been relying on. Vegeta using his suicide attack, the father-son Gallic gun Kamehameha in the Zamasu arc, all of this stuff. Frieza giving Goku energy after he lost against Jiren when he first used Ultra Instinct Omen State. All this shit. But strangely enough, I don't feel that vehemently venomous about them using the Saiyan arc stances over here. It felt a little more natural than all the other callbacks that they did in all the other times they did in Super, but it's just like, it's just funny to me that's what they decided to end it with. Because you have shitty Super Saiyan blue forms, and then they're doing the nostalgia callback bullshit over there. So that final frame wasn't necessarily a fucking it didn't get me mad, but it was just like, oh wow, this is actually how Super ends. And that's the episode review. So, in all, I thought it was a 50-50 episode, because the fighting was good, there were some nice character moments here and there, but there was also some retarded ass bullshit, which I guess that's typical of Super. It's funny how the final episode like encapsulates Super as a whole, I feel, in some respect. Especially when it comes to the shitty parts. So it's literally like a dead end for me, like a 50, like there's 50% good, 50% bad. So now I want to talk about Super as a whole. Listen, Super sucks, in my opinion, and I'm not going to go through all the reasons again. I mean, if you guys want to know all the reasons why Super sucks, just watch all my other videos, right? And to sum it up pretty much as briefly as I can, mischaracterization of characters, right? Either entirely getting the character wrong or exaggerating like one of their traits and going like flanderizing the shit out of them. Dumb pacing, plot holes, inconsistencies, things that don't make sense, too many nostalgia callbacks, all this shit, right? I can go over and over again. Abusing color swaps as transformations when Toriyama only doing that once for Super Saiyan made that special. I can go through all the reasons why for Super, but it's just like I can go through all the reasons, right, why Super fucking sucks cock, and I can be as specific as you want me to be, but I'm not going to do that because I've already done that, like, over and over again. But it's just, like, for me as a Dragon Ball fan, like, Super, the anime is over now. And the state of, like, the state of me as a fan of Dragon Ball, it's still the same. It's still my favorite series ever. Dragon Ball as a franchise as a whole is still my favorite series ever. But I cannot in good faith recommend this to someone. I can't in good faith recommend this to someone to watch the series. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it in good faith. I would tell them to read the original series and then for them to go ahead and watch Super. I cannot give them that suggestion. Right? And it's so telling to me that I may be able to do that for GT. Right? What I'll say for GT is, like, I mean, it's not a good story at all, but you might want to check it out just to see, like, what the story is about. And then what I'll say is, like, for Super, okay, yeah, you may want to do the same, but it really sucks. And it's unlike GT, it's a slog to sit through the episodes. Because I remember with GT, I mean, there was some dumb shit, but it wasn't a slog to sit through them. So, but it's just like there's a sense of relief and numbness and emptiness now that the anime is done. Now every week I won't have to do, or mostly every week I won't be venting. Because before Dragon Ball Super, I hardly did any rants, right? I was a relatively mellow, calm, normal guy that wanted to make videos about not only busting myths about Dragon Ball, but interesting shit that I liked, you know? And I was so hyped that Super came, like, we were getting new Dragon Ball content, and now I'm at the point where I'm just like, I don't want new Dragon Ball content. Just let it fucking die. And it's just like, it hurts me as a fan that Super and Heroes and all this new Dragon Ball content has made it like Yu-Gi-Oh! And fucking the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Star Wars, where it's just like shitty content coming out, and it's just trying to be like a franchise, just trying to like cash in on money, and that's it, you know? And I'm very disappointed in Toriyama also, because look, I care about Toriyama. Like, look, I'm just this random ass fan, like, on the face of this planet, right? I'm no one important, right? I'm fucking Saiyan Z3. I'm just some dude who decided to make videos on YouTube, right? Because he loves Dragon Ball, and because he loves other series, and he wants to talk about the shit that he likes, and he might want to educate people about certain, especially Dragon Ball, certain myths that people have about the series, right? And certain misconceptions that they have about the series, right? And reading about Toriyama through interviews and reading his interviews and understanding the way that he writes, not only for Dragon Ball, but for any other series, like Dr. Slump or any other one of his one-shots, like, say, Jocko the Galactic Patrolman or Sandland or whoever, right? I've come to understand, like, this dude isn't like Eiichiro Oda, who loves Luffy, who loves One Piece, who loves his characters. He's not like Hideaki Sorachi, who loves Gintama, who loves Gintoki, who feels emotion and certain sort of feelings when he writes these characters. And I've come to understand and respect and envy the fact that Toriyama feels nothing when he writes Goku for the most part. He just writes them because he's whimsical like that. The fact that he has no personal attachment to his own characters, right, is something that I find extraordinary. It's something that I wish I could have, you know? For any sort of like fucking story that I write, you know? It's something that I want to have. But Super, I feel like he just gave too much. He did not give enough fucks. And yes, there were cases where he didn't give a fuck in the original. When he was drawing and writing Dragon Ball the manga, you could tell when he didn't give a fuck, right? When he made Super Saiyan because he didn't want to ink Goku's hair in. Or when he destroyed the 2 statues at the World Tournament, right? Because he was too lazy to draw them. This gave Toriyama character. It made him whimsical as a person, as a writer, and all this stuff. But here, he took all that stuff and just abused it and made it lose its charm. Irony, whether it's Goku losing all the time, abusing color swaps, having Frieza be the one to like fight in a universe survival arc, having Zamasu lose his immortality because he fused with a mortal body, because he fused with himself, and all this stuff. All this dumb bullshit. He just took that to 11. And it's just like, this dude said on fucking... He said in one of the 30th anniversary guidebook that he was complaining about the quality of the TV anime. He was disappointed. He got so mad at the live action film and all this stuff that... Now, and he wrote Battle Gods and all this stuff, and that he can't stay away from Dragon Ball. And it's just kind of like, if the Bardock TV special in Japanese is any indication, we don't need Toriyama anymore, especially now with Super, for us to have good Dragon Ball content anymore. And it's convinced me that Toriyama, he just doesn't. I mean, he can create a few good things here and there. And for this arc, I think Ribrianne was an example of that. I think the anime fucking exaggerated her to no end, obviously. And I don't think we're gonna get that in the manga. But as far as character design goes with Beerus and Whis, and just their overall personalities, and then Ribrianne, I could feel the prime Toriyama from Dragon Ball Z. They were just character designs. They were just character designs like on a flat piece of paper. But I could feel the love emanating from them. And I felt that with even the most simplest character, even the fucking fish, the Oracle fish in Battle of Gods, I felt Toriyama vibes from that. But I didn't feel it from 70%. I didn't feel it from Gowasu. I didn't feel it from Lavenda or Basil. I didn't feel it from 90% of the Pride Troopers. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it from Dispo. I didn't feel it from. I don't know. Give me another. I didn't feel it from the Universe 3 motherfuckers. I didn't feel it from. I didn't feel it from Frost. At least in his final form. I didn't feel it from Frost. Or his third form. I mean, I'm not saying like Frieza's third form like the equivalent, because Frieza's third form is actually Frost's second form, because he doesn't have Frieza's second form, but the third form or Frieza's fourth form, final form, whatever you want to call it, I didn't feel it from there. I didn't feel shit from that. I didn't feel it from Super Saiyan Blue. I don't feel love from Ultra Instinct. I don't feel that. I don't feel that the author like made this with commitment and love and effort. And that's just made me so disappointed, because when he did that in the original manga, he still made effort. There was still effort and love behind some of the stuff that he did. He tried to justify it. There was this nice contrast between him not giving a fuck, but yet there was effort and love. And here, it's not there. It's not there. And because of that, Toriyama may no longer be my favorite author ever. And that it pains me to say that, because I love being in the creative field. I love making shit, you know? I'm starting my new job on Monday. And I have this big dream, right? That I want to be able to create, I don't know if it's movies or some shit, but I want to be able to write my own shit and make money off of it, you know? And have a good time while doing it. And I'm sure everyone, whatever job they want to do, they want to have that feeling. And Toriyama, his writing style is something that I've always wanted to emulate while trying to want to do that. Right? His detached, his airy feeling, his shtick for irony and contrast. And Super has made me realize that he just doesn't have it anymore in that respect. And that really makes me sad, because the dudes, I mean, you know, it's what they say. Don't meet your heroes, they only kill themselves, you know? And so, yeah, Toriyama may no longer be my favorite mangaka. I mean, I still love him for the original manga and all his other one-shots, but it's just like Super, it's just left too much, it's left too sour a taste in my mouth. Seriously, it has. At the very least, he's still top 2, but I may like Togashi more now. I may like Togashi. Togashi may be my favorite mangaka, you know? He may be my favorite mangaka now. I don't know. I don't know if that's 100% definitive, but it's just like... And having to deal with Super, like, every week, you know? Ranting on here, desperately hoping that some dude in America's voice with not even 1,000 subs, they could maybe change, like, how Toei does stuff. Just hoping, like, on a fucking whim, you know? Just like, something would change about the series. And that not happening, it made me so sad. And again, Super has had its good moments. There are moments where I genuinely was happy to watch an episode of Super or a scene of Super and see stuff happen. Like I said with episode 129. But the experience overall, I just, in good faith, I can't recommend it to a Dragon Ball fan. I just can't do it. The only thing I can say is just, you can check it out if you want to, just to see like how the story like plays out and all this stuff. But honestly, the writing just sucks fucking dick, you know. And even then, you know, anything. That's the thing. Like anything that you watch, a movie, a TV show, not only is the story important, but the storytelling is important. And storytelling in anime comes down to like how you draw shit, how you animate stuff, the music that you decide to play during a particular scene, how you frame shots, all this particular kind of stuff. And Super has a couple good moments here and there, in my opinion, that I think that's noteworthy. I think like the fight in this episode was indicative of that. Like the animation in this episode I thought was pretty damn good, you know? But overall, it's just not, even the storytelling isn't enough for me to, you know, like make someone want, even, if I were to get like a casual fan of Dragon Ball into this, I don't think I could do it. There's no good story, and there's not enough good storytelling. But yeah, now I don't have to rant every Saturday and Sunday, whatever, and you don't have to. Shout out to Joten real quick, because Joten, he was letting me know that ever since he started following me on Twitter, I complained too much about Dragon Ball Super, and I really didn't think about it. Maybe now that's what I've Saiyan 3 has become since 2015. Dragon Ball Super ranter. I rant too much about Super. I spent too much of my time ranting about Super instead of talking about like other shit, like how I used to do, like character analyses and talking about Yu Yu Hakusho and One Piece and all this stuff. And I never really did that. And maybe, I don't know, maybe now that'll change, but I don't know. Did I guess like I got everything I felt about Super out there. I mean, some of the music was good. Some of the music I thought was good. Some of the music I still thought was good. What else is there? I don't know. How do I even judge how do I even judge an anime again? I forget. Let me pull up my list. The characters, yeah, I talked about the characters, shit, story, shit, action, can be good here and there. World and atmosphere, so that's the thing, like, Dragon Ball Super, the thing that I was hoping that it would do was expand, like, improve the world building, which it kind of did, honestly. But it's just, like, world building isn't just saying that this location exists in the series, right? World building is, like, you go to a different place and you establish, like, the culture of the people that live there. Or you try to show like what kind of place this place is. You want to portray like history of a place, not even through dialogue, just through like how a fucking like some monument or something like in that particular world looks. Like take like Dark Souls or Zelda Breath of the Wild or Shadow of the Colossus. You can tell like what the world you're able to tell what the story of those entire universes are, without characters speaking to you, without reading text, just by looking like at this worn out, decayed monument, you can tell like there was history here, right? That's world building. That's an element of world building. World building isn't just saying like, oh, there's a Universe 6 and there's fucking Planet 6 Sadala. And granted, there was more to it than that. Yeah, we've seen a little bit of the culture in Universe 6 with the Saiyans. We know that there's a king and all this stuff, right? We've seen a little bit of that, but it's just like, that's not enough. That's not enough world building. Namek was great world building because we learned that there was 108 people that Grand Elder Guru in the dub birthed. We learned that the Namekian race was split into the Warrior Clan and the Dragon Clan. We learned that there was 2 or 3 suns on Namek. We learned that the Namekians only drink water. We learned about the history of Namek, knowing that there was a great calamity that wiped out all the people that caused for Namekians that caused for Grand Elder Guru in the dub again to birth all the 108 people. We learned that Namekians, they only drink, I think I already said this, but they only drink water. We learned that Namekians, they only, that they're naturally a very, like, reclusive race, right? We learned about their architecture, their way of life, all this stuff. We saw, even in Anime Filler and Z, we saw Muri trying to do golf. And that gave them character. That's world building. That gives you good atmosphere. And Super just did not achieve that. It sucks. And granted, atmosphere, there were only a couple good scenes that I can remember, and pretty much all of them were in this arc, where the atmosphere was like perfect. When Goku first met Frieza, the atmosphere like with the candles and Fortune Teller Baba appearing at his place with Frieza's body and all that stuff, that mood and atmosphere was perfect. Also, the quiet nature when it was down to Universe 7 versus Universe 11 at the end, when it showed like the Toppo's mustache like flowing in the wind and the clothes and Frieza's tail fluttering in the wind and all that stuff, that sent good mood. That set good mood and good atmosphere. But those moments were so few in between. The humor, pretty shit for the most part. Pretty terrible. Not funny at all. Art and animation. Art was good. Yu Yu Takahashi, of course. Animation obviously had its good moments. But there were also like its bad moments too. And Dragon Ball Z had that. So, but not only Dragon Ball Z, Hakusho had it. Gintama has it still. So, but even with Gintama, the bad art is still good looking in my opinion. The music, I mean, 50-50. 50-50. And the voice acting, definitely a step down from Z. Definitely. Oh my god. Nozawa, Horikawa, they're legends. They are fucking legends, and I love them with all my heart. But if I were to make a clip of like the highlights of Masako Nozawa, or the highlights of Ryo Horikawa, or the highlights of Ryusu Nakagawa's Frieza, I am not taking one single fucking clip from Super. No fucking way. I am not doing that. There was not one good moment. Not one good moment that all the classic characters, Krillin, Mayumi Tanaka, Miki Ito with Android 18, Shigeru Nakahara with Android 17, actually no, 17 it might be a little different, because the nonchalant tone doesn't sound actually too different from him in 17, where, in Z, excuse me, where he speaks, and Kai, where he speaks with a lot more bravado. But it's just like, I can't do it. No fucking way. No fucking way. I make a voice acting clip reel, they're not coming. So, let's recap. Characters are shit, stories shit, action for the most part hit or miss, world atmosphere, yeah, pretty terrible, humor is shit, art and animation hit or miss, music hit or miss, voice acting not as good as Z. I can't recommend this show. I just can't do it in good faith as a Dragon Ball fan. It's impossible for me to do. It's impossible for me to do. And so, the relief now that the anime is over. I mean, we still got the manga, we still got the movie to deal with, but the weekly basis, that burden is lifted off of my shoulder. It's no longer my burden. No longer my burden. The burden of me as a Dragon Ball fan, right, having to deal with this on a weekly basis is gone. But the shame of me as a Dragon Ball fan having to admit that this is part of my series will always be there as long as I'm always a fan. And that's what sucks. And to see interviews by the writers and over-dramatic moments trying to make shit over-dramatic just makes me really, really, really sad. So yeah, I think I've talked about Super as well and as much as I can. And so I want to end this, and so the video is not done yet. I know this is an hour long, but last thing I want to talk about is like the future of this channel. So like I said, I'm not gonna close this channel down. I'm not gonna stop making videos. But the frequency of videos is definitely going to be a lot less now. Because, and it's like I said, so before Dragon Ball Super started, I was already going through that phase, right? Where I just kind of like, and even during Super, like even during like the Versus Universe 7, Versus Universe 6 arc, I really wasn't making too many videos. I mean, I made an episode review here and there, but I wasn't doing like weekly like what I'm doing here now, right? And so I was kind of like going, like having like a very infrequent schedule of uploading videos, and that coincided with my decrease in interest in anime and manga as a whole, right? And so I want to talk about that real quick. So I've said it before, but my interest in anime and manga as a whole is pretty much non-existent at this point, right? I still like the old classics. The Kawabipa, Dragon Ball, Samurai Champloo, Yu Yu Hakusho, Ghost in the Shell, all that stuff. Gintama, Hellsing Ultimate, Hunter x Hunter, all that stuff, right? One Piece. All those series I still love, right? I still love and I still keep up with them, and I'm still going to keep up with them as long as I possibly can. Hopefully until the end of their respective series, right? Hopefully I don't drop it or anything like that. But it's just that that's how I started my channel. You know, the 700 something fans that I have now, they sub to me because I started doing anime and manga videos. And ever since then, ever since I stopped making videos, you know, the sub count has gone down. And it's understandable. I completely get that. I'm not trying to say like don't unsubscribe. Actually, no. I hope you don't unsubscribe. But now that Super is over, I don't even. I mean, Gintama is still there, but I'm not sure if that's something that I want to review weekly. Because the thing about Super or Dragon Ball as a whole compared to like any other series is that every episode is important, right? Every episode it's kind of like there's something always to talk about, interesting for me to personally talk about within that anime, right? Within any Dragon Ball anime, because the plot moves along at such like a at a at a brisk pace for the most part, and not only that, there's enough like relevant like plot events happening. You know, it's so, you know what I mean? I guess I'm not explaining it right, but like an example of what I mean is like, say take Gintama, like the last episode that aired, where like everyone was having like downtime after like driving out like Daikini and all that stuff from in the latest episode from in Kabukicho. That's an episode I wouldn't review because there's not really much to talk about. Like, yeah, people are having downtime and um having a good time. You know, I could summarize that like in less than a minute. And so I wouldn't need to make a video about that. But Dragon Ball is not necessarily that kind of anime. I mean, sure, you have like filler episodes here and there, but even like an episode review like Cowboy, or an episodic series like Cowboy Bebop, that's episodic. I can somewhat review that, you know. But Dragon Ball is like every episode I feel like is worth reviewing, even if it's shit like Super. And so I don't know if I'm gonna have another like anime to watch that's gonna do something like this. And considering that my interest is pretty much like down to like 10% basically, I don't know if I'm ever gonna do another anime or manga video again. Actually, no, that's not true, because I still have character analyses and all this stuff coming out. But the point is, the frequency of videos coming out is definitely going to be a lot less now because the weekly series is over. I think that just makes sense. You can see the reasoning, like why that's going to happen. And especially with my new job starting on Monday, which is like basically a career for me, I'm pretty much only going to be online during the weekends, right? So my time with you all, as much as I appreciate it, it's going to be severely shortened. But at the same time, I've also figured out new ways and new types of videos that I want to put on my channel. So now that I have a PS4 and all this, I know I definitely want to do more gaming stuff. I want to talk about video games. I especially want to talk about Yakuza and Metal Gear, and I want to be able to stream shit. So I'm gonna look into streaming now, because I'm gonna be making enough money that I can do like my own studio and all this stuff. Don't worry, I'm still gonna make anime videos. I'm still gonna do character analyses. If there's an interesting video that I can do about Dragon Ball or Yu Yu Hakusho or Gintama or whatever, I'm still gonna review it. I still have the manga arc review for the Universe Survival review. I still got the manga arc review for the Universal Survival to do, right? Whenever that finishes, I have the anime arc review to do, right? As I did with the Versus Universe 6 arc and with the Zamasu arc, right? I still got that to do. There's still the new movie coming out. I gotta review that. I'm gonna do a Gintama arc review when that's over with. And well, I'll have to reread the manga too, but that'll be happening. Character analyses, that'll be happening still. And there's still a couple topics that I can talk about. So the videos are still there. It's just that the frequency won't be as much. But there's also new content that I would definitely want to do. And maybe even YouTube isn't the best place to do it. It might be time for me to go to Twitch, actually, if I want to start doing gaming stuff. Because games right now is definitely like my main hobby. Like, that's how I spend my free time, like fucking games. Super Mario Odyssey. I just finished the Yakuza 6 demo, and Yakuza 6 is coming out in a month. Playing Dragon Ball FighterZ right now. I want to get Noctis for Tekken 7, and I want to get better I want to shake off the rust in Tekken and get better at Tekken. I want to get over that wall, and yeah, there's you know, I definitely want to do games, and I just want to do like more like different like content. And I'm afraid the one thing that worries me is that people won't be watching those videos, because whenever I do the Yakuza streams or the Yakuza videos, I don't nearly get as much video or views on that as I do, like, say, not even Dragon Ball Super videos, but even just like character analyses videos. Like, I don't get that many like views on it. Even something like Yusuke, my Yusuke Urameshi character analysis video, my Yakuza vids don't even draw that much in. So I'm hesitant to start because of that. I mean, not that I really care about like having like 24 views for like my entire fucking YouTube career, but it is what it is, you know. So yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, as far as like weekly streams go, I'm not sure if I'll be able to, how frequent that will be, but we'll see. But yeah, new content incoming. Hopefully, I don't know how frequent it will be, but yeah, I want to do TV shows. I want to review my favorite. I want to review like Sopranos and Boardwalk Empire. I want to talk about those two. I want to do a There Will Be Blood review and talk about like the characters in that film. I just want to do a whole bunch of stuff, man. But it's just like it's new, fresh content, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, is it going to be worth it? And with this new job and my career starting now, it's like I'm a tech analyst in Virginia now, if you guys want to know. So I'm basically a tech analyst. So yeah. But yeah, there's a sense. So I'm pretty much gonna end the video here. But there's a sense of like moving on. Like, remember like King of Lightning, like when Naruto ended with chapter 700, when he was like, end of an era, it's time to move on. And that's kind of what I'm feeling now, because Dragon Ball Super, at least the anime is over with. And I'm starting my new job. Like, starting a new job is a big thing for me. Maybe it's more so that than anything else, but yeah. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching my video, for putting up with me for the last 2.5 years or whatever, watching all my reviews. And I hope that you guys still continue to support me, watch my videos, and yeah, I still plan to continue my time on YouTube, and all the friends that I made back in 2013, 2014, I still want to keep in touch with them, on whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, or even on YouTube itself. So, but there is a sense of change that I feel at the end of this video for sure. Yeah, Super's over, my new job, thinking about like what's gonna happen with the YouTube channel. Yeah. If you guys are relatively new subs, please check out all my older videos, like the character analyses, my arc reviews, like the Chapter Black that I did for Yu Yu Hakusho, all that stuff. And if you guys really truly like what I do, then please share that shit as much as you can on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, or whatever. Just share it. Just share it. Just be like, I want to show you like this good video about like the Chapter Black and change my mind and all this shit, right? Even if you don't agree with me or whatever, just whatever, yeah. But anyway, today I gotta get ready for tomorrow. Gotta buy clothes and all the shit. Get my stuff for my haircut. Make sure my passport's ready. And make this fucking bread. And probably the first two purchases that I'm gonna do is get my own car. And probably get a better fucking phone. So at least I have like Snapchat and I can send like dick pics to people, to girls over Snapchat and some shit. So yeah, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching my shit, guys. I really appreciate it. This isn't the end. I'm not trying to make this some fucking sappy, emotional ass like goodbye or anything, but because it's not. But seriously, our time together is probably going to come down to like, it's going to be shortened for sure. And for that, for putting up with me every week, my rants, not even putting up, because I know that I feel like I'm right whenever I ranted about Super, but now that it's over, such a burden lifted off my shoulder. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a good night. Seriously, have a good night. Take care. Actually no, but I'll do the anime arc review. I'll have to organize it. So like the way I did was like every episode, like I put it on Notepad, right? So yeah. So I'll have to like rearrange that shit and like edit it and proofread it and everything. So once I have that done, look forward to that. So that's coming. The anime that'll probably be like my next big video. Yeah. Unless that, or there's like some big like reveal about like the movie or some shit like that, you know. And please, for God forbid, I don't think I can do another new series. Oh my goodness, I can't take another new series. Fuck that shit. Oh my God. Oh Lord. New Dragon Ball, not hyped about. But at least we all have the original manga. Anyway, my hair is all kinds of fucked up. Thank you guys for watching. Seriously. I'll see you guys next time. Wow, that was actually kind of whack. I did like the little Goku thing on a without thinking. Anyway, okay, yeah. Anyway, good night, guys.